Hello everybody, I'm Alexey Krabarov, the organizer of Reactive Systems Meetup. And here we are at Runnable, which is a very interesting company. I heard a lot about it. This is our first time here. These guys invited us. We have an exciting program today. And so I'm super excited to have Anand Patel with us, who is a lead engineer. So what is your kind of definition of microservices?
So our definition of microservices is we like to keep it strict to the domain. So one microservice should have one thing and do it correctly.
Okay.
So anything you can have that does one functional thing is considered a microservice in our world.
So people push to GitHub and you build it?
So yeah, when people push to GitHub, we'll build that and all the dependencies. So if they have API, Mongo, some other service, emailing service, we'll build all three of those and we'll launch them together in a little cluster completely isolated from every other cluster. So you have basically your production stack to test and review for as long as the branch lives.
Nice. So by review you mean basically you can observe
Correct.
the system, see, you can make some API calls.
Exactly. You have basically your entire production stack. So we will provide you with a URL, and you can visit it, and they're all containers, so you can actually go in, mess around with the terminal, go debug. You have the file tree there, everything that you need to debug basically a stack.
Nice. So the customers will be essentially developers.
Correct.
Okay, that's really cool. I mean, now that I heard this, I thought like, how can anybody live without it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it seems like a very, very natural thing. So how long have you guys been in business?
So we've been around for 4 years. We actually started with code.runnable.com, which was just a code snippet site. And in that website, you basically just paste a code snippet and we'll run it for you.
Okay.
So we were very familiar with Dockers and containers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then we pivoted to sort of this new product, which is more for teams instead of just running code snippets, where you can get your entire stack and see the changes and review it.
So how long has the snippet product existed?
Same for 4 years. The snippet product. We still have it hosted. So it's at code.runnable.com now.
Interesting, because I remember I kind of I was playing with different sites to format the code, and then I came across CodePad, which was I think similar, because it was basically a set of different languages, which it could do, right, and then it would do that. So but that's non-trivial because then you need to figure out how to build different pieces, right, and like building of camel is very different from doing Ruby, right?
Right, exactly.
So how did you guys? I'm just curious. Like I like programming languages. Like what kind of programming languages did you support in like this original?
Right. So in the original product, we actually could support anything that ran on Linux because under the hood we're using Docker and containers.
Yes.
So we have base containers, and then in the snippet site is just small little snippets that you run, like in a REPL or something. And so you just have like 1 or 2 files, and you can just run those simple scripts.
So do you rely on customers to provide their own build script?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, there's no builds in the original one. That's more with the new system that we have.
Right. So let's say I don't know, like I'm a Scala guy, right? So let's say I want Scala. So how should I provision the instance? How do you make sure you have the stuff which I need?
Right. Well, so you have full access to the container. So you can run, you can get your favorite package manager and pull that in, and we save that as a container. So it's up to the developer to actually install all the tools that they need. And then we'll just save that container because it already has what you need. And from there, we just keep launching those images, and nobody needs to install anything after the initial developer bakes in the correct requirements and dependencies inside of the container.
So do you basically run standard Docker setup?
Exactly.
Nice. So what kind of interest did you see? I mean, to me it sounds super interesting. When you tested with developers, what kind of reaction do you see there?
Well, when we tested with developers, they saw this was a problem because typically they only have like 1 or 2 staging environments, and the code versions are out of sync. One person deployed this, another person deployed that. They're not meshing with each other. So then you start, debugging this, and it turns out the reason it wasn't broken is because your, service number 2 wasn't in the correct state. It was like, some debug branch. So having that ability to have your own like full stack environment helped people test faster and better. You can hit the URL and test right away as soon as you make a commit. So that was a real advantage of the product. Nice. And that's where we saw customers get really excited, is when you have a PR, we provide you with a link, and that link is basically your code running. And you can click that link, check it out, debug it right there on the fly, directly from your PR.
Nice. Are you guys on Amazon?
Yes, all of our infrastructure is on Amazon EC2.
Okay, cool. So let's say I'm a big company, I have my own Amazon account. Do I basically come in with my credentials, or do you run it for me?
So we offer an on-prem solution where we can connect to your GitHub Enterprise. For the cloud offering, you just connect with GitHub and we suck everything in.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Nice. So I mean, it's really cool. How did you get interested in this space?
Well, I started at NVIDIA doing low-level kernel drivers, so it's completely opposite. And then I moved over to large-scale distributed systems. Okay. I was just really interested in the original product, the idea where anybody, on a laptop or Chromebook, they don't need all this hardware. They can, if they want to test something, they can just go in the browser and edit code. So from there, when we moved to the newer product, we always had issues here, like ourselves, when we made the original website. We were always fighting over staging. People left in broken states. Like most of our time was fixing the staging environment. So what really excited me was that we're providing these test environments, and alternately we're running every type of code possible, from Ruby, Node.js, Java. Because we're running Docker container, we have to support pretty much everything and anything. Right. And so that's also really exciting that we have to figure out how to support all these different stacks.
Right. So the work.
Right.
But they become experts.
Right.
It's, this is very interesting to me, the NVIDIA connection, because so I'm also doing an AI conference. Okay. And NVIDIA is very strong now in AI, right? And it actually comes with the GPUs as a vehicle for deep learning, right? Which is kind of super. So, and kind of one of my messages to the AI community is that it's an 80-20 rule, right? So there is 20% of fun AI things, but then you have data engineering pipeline. So all what you guys are doing is essential because data has to come in to the into the pipeline, and usually it's APIs, right? So somebody needs to do all the microservices, then you can aggregate the data. So it's funny, like you might find yourself coming full circle, right? Because eventually it has to feed kind of some deep learning running on NVIDIA. Correct. Right. So which is like it's really interesting. Cool. So I mean, we're looking forward to your talk. But kind of, what do you think is? I mean, this is obviously like microservices revolution, right? So everybody's kind of talking about them. I think what you described is a very reasonable way to test this. Where do you think we're going to be in a year, and where do you guys want to be in a year from now? Right.
Architecture-wise?
Architecture-wise, business-wise, like what do you want people to be able to do?
Right. So eventually, we want to be able to sort of replicate everything that you have, not only your code, but also your infrastructure as well. And Amazon, allows us to pick different instance types. So we'll not only be able to run your code, but we'll also be able to define your exact machines. M4 large with SSDs, running this kind of network, whether it's like Weave, Calico, or some custom network that you're running. Ideally, we'd be able to suck all that in and have a programmatically spin up your entire environment in that way. That's sort of the dream as a company. And architecture-wise, I think we're already on the path of event-driven programming, but there's still some services like our monoliths that we still need to convert to the event-driven. So internally, I wish we could make everything sort of follow the reactive pattern.
Nice. So, you are, if I understood correctly, you want to take my code and then figure out how to run it. Exactly. So you want to figure out. So if you see I do a lot of AI, you will pick a GPU instance for me. Exactly. Right, and you will do the right thing. Correct. Right? I'm super excited about this. I want to see it. So thank you very much. Looking forward to your talk, and thanks for inviting us.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.